Right. Since we established in the previous shiurim with the mitzvah of to lend money somebody needs, a big mitzvah, okay, you learn and you're going to practice it and you think, you feel good, I did the mitzvah. But wait, the problem's just starting. The Pasuk says like this, Im kesef talve es ami, es oni imoch, that's the mitzvah, you should lend money to somebody in need. But then comes the second part of the Pasuk, Loi sieh loi kenoisha, meaning you should not really go after him to pay you back if even the time came back already. He told him I'm going to take a loan, let's say for 30 days. Comes he doesn't have the money to give you, you cannot go put pressure on him, where's my money, start harassing him. You cannot do that. Now we'll learn the details of this halacha, when you're allowed, when you're not allowed. So the Torah demands very high demands from us. You have to help somebody in need. Then when it comes time to pay, if he doesn't have, don't put a pressure on him. So here is the Gemara and Bava Metzia, Daf Ein Hey Amud Beis. The Gemara is like this. Also Rav Dimi. Rav Dimi came to from Eretz Yisrael to Babel. He says, Omar, Minayin lenoisha b'chaveira moneh. You lend somebody money. V'yadeya she'en loy. And you know he doesn't have the money to pay you back. He's not doing it because he doesn't want to pay you. He doesn't have. She'osur l'avor lefanov. Not only you're not allowed to harass him, you're not allowed to go in front of him, in front of his house. He should look at you. He should see you. As a reminder, I'm just a friendly reminder. You're not allowed to do that. Even a friendly reminder. Talmud loymar lo siya lo kenoisha. Don't be as a collection agency. Rav Ami v'Rav Asi the Amre Tarvayu kila donoi b'shnei dinin. It's like you put them under two dinim, under two punishments. Which one? Shneimar hir kavto enosh l'roshenu pasuk in Tehillim. Like you put somebody over our head, the malve becomes sitting on the head of the loive. Bonu b'eshu b'moyim. Like it's going through swimming in the ocean or under the fire. B'eshu b'moyim. It's not easy for. It's not easy for the loive, for the borrower right now to pay you, and you make him feel very, very guilty. And Rashi brings over the on the pasuk erkavto enosh l'roshenu. You put somebody over our head. He says l'roshenu loshen noishe, meaning the noishe, the malve, the lender comes over my head, puts pressure on me, and it says you should not. The Torah says should not do. Now it's a problem. So we're learning now we should not do that. So what should you do? You were a nice guy. You helped him in a need. Now he's going to tell you, oh, don't put pressure on me. Or he doesn't tell you. The Torah tells you, and you're stuck in a way. So maybe if that's the second halacha, the Torah will discourage from people to do the first halacha. If I know when I lend money to Chaim, when he doesn't have it, I can't put pressure on him. Maybe next time I say, Mali b'latzora, it's what I need this for. Maybe you're not going to do it. So not going to learn the details, how when it applies or doesn't apply. So again, we're going to Cheshon Mishpat Tzadik Zayin, Halacha base. Osur lingos a saloive, you're not allowed. Lingos from the word like biting him. You're not allowed to go and put pressure on him to get your money. Lifroya, to ask him to repay. When you know he doesn't have. Again, we're going to see when it's a different scenario. He doesn't want to pay you. When you know he doesn't have, you cannot put pressure on him. Meaning you cannot even stand in front of him to remind him. He's embarrassed, you remind him I owe you money. He just doesn't have it now, so you're not allowed to do that. Now the Gemara, the halacha talks for the loive, for the borrower. Let's say the borrower has the money, he just says, not today. If you have the money, also you're not allowed to say tomorrow, come later. Some people do that. They torture till they give back the money. They torture the malve, the kind person, the person who did them the chesed. That you're not, the loive, the borrower is not allowed to do that. Oh, now there's another. Before I go answer the first question, Taki, what are you going to do if you're stuck? So we're going to talk about it. But right now we're going to one more important halacha. Some people go to borrow money, but it's not for necessities. It's things which are not necessity. So it says, the whole idea, why are you going to ask for money of somebody to help you? It's a necessity. You cannot pay your mortgage, your rent, you don't have enough money for food. But if it's something, it's not necessity, you don't have to do this, it says. So you cannot take the halavoah, the money, and take it for expenses that it's not l'tzorich, it's not necessity. Then you lost it. You did something wasn't urgent, it wasn't important. Now you don't have money to pay. Now the malve doesn't know how to take the money back. If if a person borrows money which is not necessity, and then he doesn't have to pay back, that's a pasuk in Tehillim. It doesn't talk about somebody who doesn't have. That's an onus. The pasuk would not call him, David HaMelech would not call him such a person Russia. He doesn't have. He tried to pay. He wanted to pay. He doesn't have. We're talking about somebody who took it to begin with and he wasted the money. Now he doesn't have. You shouldn't have taken him to get-go. It wasn't a necessity. Here's another halacha, the detail of when you have to lend money or you don't have to. When you know that the borrower coming in front of you, he's not borrowing for necessities. When you know he's going to waste the money on something, better not to lend the money than giving him and then bugging him for the money. In that case, we're saying, when you know the person, the borrower, is going to waste the money or use it for something it's not necessity, and then you're going to have to bug him for it because he doesn't have, he wasted the money, better not to lend him. So that's basically the halachas of loive or malve. So now we're going to the original halacha, the question we had before. I'm not allowed to remind it. I lend somebody money, and I'm not allowed to remind him, how am I going to get my money back? I'm relying on his goodness, but if I don't tell him anything, he'll feel comfortable. He'll wait. So here is the Sefer Kesef HaKadoshim on Shulchan Aruch, the Sefer on Kesef HaKadoshim. He answers the question like this. It says like this. First of all, it says over here, if I know he doesn't have, what happens if I know for sure he has the money? So that's number one. If I know for sure that he has the money, he just not being a nice person, he doesn't want to do his obligation to pay me back, then you're allowed to tell him. The whole idea is not to put the hardship of another Eid. You want to be nice to him, kind to him, he doesn't have. But if you know he has, definitely could put pressure on him. The shaila will become, so like this. When I know for sure he doesn't have, I'm not allowed to ask him. Because it's putting pressure, he doesn't have. When I know for sure he has, then I'm allowed to ask him. The Torah didn't say, be nice to him when he just doesn't want to pay you. It's your money, he owes you the money. What happens if I don't know, one way or another? If this Isur will be Isur D'Oraisa, like we just read, it's mamish, not just asmachta, but it's real Isur that we're not allowed to ask him. Sveika D'Oraisa L'chumra, when I don't know, I have to be machmir, with the sofek, and I should not ask him unless I know for sure he has. Okay, then many times I'm going to be stuck. So that's so he is mechadash something very, very important. He says there's not Sveika D'Oraisa, it's Sveika D'Rabbanon. And Sveika D'Rabbanon is L'kula, when you're not sure if he has money or not, you could put pressure on him. It's only time, Al Pi Halacha, you're not allowed to put pressure and the borrower, when you know for sure he doesn't have. People know what's going on usually in the community, or somebody you lend money, obviously it's close to you, you're not lending it to a stranger, then you're not allowed. But if you have a doubt, then you're allowed to put the pressure. Because it's not Sveka D'Oraisa. Why it's not Sveka D'Oraisa? We just learned it. Sveka D'Oraisa, Lo Yisiyelo K'noshe. Don't put pressure on him. He explained like this. The pasuk says Lo Yisiyelo K'noshe talks about in a scenario when you're really going aggressively after him to the point you want to go and take a collateral from him now. Like he brings the pasuk, like the woman told to that was the story in Tanakh we read in time of Elisha when Ovadia, we read this haftarah in one of the Shabbos, when Ovadia took money at the time of Achav, the wicked king. He was borrowing money to support 100 Nevi'im. He's hid them in caves, 2 different caves, 50-50. And the reason is because Izabel and Achav went and killed many of the Nevi'im, so he saved them, but he was supposed to support them. All the money finished, he was borrowing money, and he finished, didn't have what to pay, to the point that the lender came and says, if you don't have the money, already Ovadia passed away, now the wife have to deal with these choivas, and the lender said to the Ovadia's wife, to the borrower's wife, if you don't have the money, I'm going to take you 2 of your kids to be my slaves as a collateral. So it says that the Torah in such an extent, and you're going to take some collateral. Or he talks about there's a pasuk over there, don't come to his house and take collateral, or go to the Beis Din. When you go on aggressive collection, that's what says you're not allowed to do. That's midoraisa. Stam to ask, it's only the Rabbanon. Midoraisa, you're allowed to ask. I'm just telling you, please, I give you a gemach, pay me back. That's your allowed. Rabbanon told you, even that you shouldn't do. That, since it's second Rabbanon, this part of the collection, I'm not going aggressively taking a collateral, I'm not putting a pressure, I'm just asking you nicely. It's only the Rabbanon. Only if I know for sure you don't have, comes Isur Rabbanon, I should not have. But if it's a Sfeika, then you're allowed to do this. According to this, comes out like this. If I know for sure he doesn't have, I'm not allowed to remind him. If I know for sure he has, I'm allowed to remind him. And if it's a Sofek, you're also allowed to remind him. Then it says like this, it's very important halacha. All this lagabe lending money. What happens if somebody owes me money not because I lend him money. Let's say I'm a landlord and he owes me money for rent. Nothing to do with lending money, with the gemach. So he brings like this. Or let's say I'm a merchant and I sold merchandise to somebody and I gave him a credit. Okay, over there we could go if it's halva. Let's leave this aside now. I don't want to go into that sugya now. But let's say, like I said, I rented a property to somebody, didn't pay me. That's not, doesn't go under this halach. I'm not allowed to put pressure. Even I know for sure it doesn't have, you're allowed to put pressure because the mitzvah of the Torah not to put pressure, it's only was on a gemach, on a loan, not on this. But then he said like this, that he concluded this. Even in such a case, it's not a loan. You're talking about you rented a house, let's say, the guy didn't pay you. Mitzad halach, you're allowed to put pressure. If you know for sure it doesn't have, it's not kedai. So from here, the conclusion of this, we see the standards of Torah. It's unbelievable. Hashem demands from us things. People say, you're Amma Miyuchat, special nation. Yeah, we have great responsibilities that no one else, Hashem demands such a standard. When you have the money and you know somebody is in need for a kamach and you know he's going to pay you back, you mechuyav to give him a loan. That's mitzvah chesed d'oraisa. In kesef talva es ami. You have to give him the money.
Even if there's other people?
What do you mean other people?
To give.
If he came to you, what do you mean? It's like you're saying someone else will do the mitzvah. No, he came to you and you have the money. You know for sure he'll give it back to you. There's no risk involved. You mechuyav al pitoira to lend him the money. Now, if after you lend him the money, obviously you have to pay you back. We're talking about decent people, but he doesn't have now. You know for sure he doesn't have. You're not allowed to put pressure on him. You're not allowed to put pressure on him, and if you're not sure, if you know for sure he has it, then you're allowed to put it. If you're not sure, the rabbanon, because it was said that it's only the issue of the rabbanon, according to the way he explained, then you're allowed to put pressure on him. And Gabe, when you do business and it's a rental property, he didn't pay you, it doesn't apply. Bichlal this mitzvah, but he recommends, nochem lizor gam b'zeh.